Hello everyone. Today we're going to be building a countdown timer courtesy of Frontend Mentor. So let's get started. You can head over to frontendmentor.io/challenges and then look for this challenge. It's called Launch Countdown Timer, and then just click on it and then click on Start Challenge. Okay. And then you can just say download starter, which will download the starter files for you. Now I've already done that. So what I'm going to do is go into my downloads folder. It's in my downloads folder inside here, and then this is the zip file that it has downloaded for me. So I'm just going to extract this here, and then I'm going to open this up with Visual Studio Code, and we can get started on building our design. So let me just close this. Now the first thing that I want to do immediately is just open this up with Live Server, and then we can take a look inside this index.html file as that opens up. Okay, and then we can see that all we have is an H1 that says we are launching soon, and then the days, hours, minutes, and the seconds. Okay, so this seems straightforward enough. So the first thing that we want to do before we actually begin is I want to create a style.css file inside my root, so style.css, and then I also want to create an app.js file which we are going to use to manipulate the date and the time and everything else. And so let me just grab all of this, cut it out, and paste it inside my style CSS. And then inside here, I'm going to remove this style tag, and I'm going to link in my style sheet. So link style.css like so. And then at the bottom, right before the closing body tag, I want to link in my JavaScript. So link, the source should be /app.js like so. And then inside here, let me replace this with my website. So https tsbsankara.co.ke, and then place my name inside here like so. And then I want this to open on a new tab as well. So let me just say target equals to _blank like so. And then because this is a security risk, just a bit of a security risk, then you will need to add on both of these. You will need to add rel equals to no referrer like so, so that the new page doesn't get access to the window.open attribute, which can cause cross-scripting attacks. Okay, so now before I can save this, what I want to do is just take a look at this design. Where's the design? Should be desktop design. Okay, so this is what we have for the desktop. We have the H1 here, uppercase at the top, and then we have our countdown timer in the middle. Okay, and then at the bottom we have this this image. Do we have that image? Should be this pattern hints.svg, and then we have our social media icons as well. So for these social media icons, we are just going to use what they provide for us because they're not going to be going anywhere. And then okay, yeah, so I think I already have the basic structure for this. So we have our body, then we have a container which contains everything else inside here. So what I want to do is just grab all this and cut it out and place it inside a div with a class of container. Just paste that in, and then grab this h1 and place it inside a grab the text and place it each one inside the h1 like so. And then once we do that, then I want to create another div with a class of countdown like so, which will contain all of this. So the first one is going to say a div inside here, and then it's going to be an h3 that says days. Okay, and then below this h3 we're going to have a paragraph that says the time. So this is going to be the placeholder for the time or the days that are remaining like so. Now just to make these things faster, just to make it faster, I'm going to copy this 3 more times. So 1 2 3. This will be hours, this will be minutes, and then this will be seconds like so. And then just cut this out, and I think we are ready to begin styling this out much better. Okay, so let me place this desktop design to the right, and then let's go inside our style CSS, save this just to format it a bit better, And then I should check if we have a font. I would think so. I think we have a font here called Red Hat Text. We want the weight of 700. So let me just copy this and head into fonts.google.com. So once you open this up with Live Server, this is what you're going to get on the screen. So let's head over to fonts.google.com. Actually, I can just paste in this link to make it faster. And then we want the 700 bold. So select the style and then grab the link tag, copy this, and then inside our index HTML right here, I'm going to paste this in and save it to format it just a bit better. And then inside here, what's it called? It's called Red Hat Text, and the fallback is sans serif. So right here, I'm going to define the body, and I'm going to say the body should have a font family of Red Hat Text with a fallback of sans serif. And then at the top, I want to specify my asterisk like so, and I'm going to reset the margin to 0, the padding to 0, and the box sizing, set this to border box like so. And then let me grab all the images and set the images to have a max width of 100% like so. Let's grab the UL, and the UL, we're going to be adding the UL for these three icons, and just say list style type, set this to none. And what else do we need? I think that should be it for now. I hope so. So let's save this and let's see what we have. And we should have something similar to this. Now let's begin styling this out even further by checking what we have as our classes. We have a class of container, so let me target the class of container. And actually, first of all, I haven't added these images, right? I should probably add in the images just so that we can see it, and so that when we begin styling it, we can just go through everything once. So this pattern here should be this image at the bottom. So still within the container, right? Still within the container, but right before the closing container tag, I want to add a div with a class of heels, like so. And this div with the class of heels is going to have the image that comes from /images, and it's called pattern heels. And then I'm seeing BG stars here, so that should be the top one. Right within inside this container, I'm going to create a div with the class of stars, like so, and the image is going to be /images BG stars, like so. So save this, and we have, okay, so these are the stars, and then this is the heels pattern. So the body needs a background color. So let's see what would be the background color for the body. Grayish blue, no. Dark desaturated blue, very dark blue. Let's try very dark blue. Inside here, let's say the background color. Background color should be this. And there we go. Yeah, I think that should be it. That should be it. And then we can begin styling this. Now, the first thing that I want to do, of course, is that I want to position this image, the stars image. I want to position it absolute so that this can move to the top right around there. And then I also want to position this absolute so that when I say set it to the bottom of 0, then we are no longer going to have this scroll bar on the right. So let's do that, and let me go right above this and say for the stars, I want to say position absolute, and the stars I think is the name of the class that I gave it, right? Stars. And then for the hills as well, I want to say position absolute as well, but for this one I want it to the bottom of 0. Okay, so that we have that. Now we no longer have the scroll bar. As you can see, I'm trying to scroll, or as you can hear rather, I'm trying to scroll, but nothing is scrolling. And then we are probably going to need to add a media query for this, because the designs from Frontend Mentor are usually made with a 1440 pixel screen, and my screen is just a bit larger. So let me add a media query here, and I'm going to say at media for a min width of 1440 pixels. Then I want to grab the stars and then the image inside the stars class. And I also actually want to grab the hills div and then the image inside, and then set the width for this to 1600 pixels. So that should be that. So that now it goes all the way to the end. And you can as well add another breakpoint just for much larger screens, where you can say for a min width of, let's say, 1600 pixels, then you can change this to around 1920 pixels. And it's just a much bigger breakpoint, and you can bring in more and more devices. Okay, so once we do that, then actually I haven't had my my list as well, my social media icons. So let me add my social media icons. I'm just adding everything so that I don't forget. And where is it? There's a div with the class of content word at this end right here. So let me go above this. Let me add a div with the class of socials. And this div is going to have a UL with 3 list items. So li times 3, and all of these are going to be images. The first one is coming from /images. It's called Facebook. The second one is coming from /images. It's called Pinterest. And then the third one is coming from /images, and it is called Instagram. Save that. That's what we have, and we have this on the screen. Now this is not going to be here. We're going to position it absolute to the bottom left. So it's going to be to the bottom right around here, and then to the left of 50%. So let's do that. And I know I'm not really following any kind of like chronological order, but I want the countdown timer to be the last thing that we do. So that's why I'm dealing with this UI first. So let's go into the class of social. Let me just place a comment and say socials. And then here, target the class of socials. And I'm going to say position this as absolute. And then position it to the bottom by, let's say, around 30 pixels. Let's see. Okay, let's add a z index of this to around 999 because this is positioned absolute as well. So that's why it's on the top. And then I think our unordered list is at the bottom. So let's save this. And there we have it. And then let's also add a left property of 50%, like so. And then the next thing that I want to do is just grab this socials class once again, target the UL and just say display flex, like so. And then let me target the list items. So socials, UL, and LI, and then set a margin of 0 on the top and bottom and 20 pixels on the left and right, so that we can have this. And notice how these are a bit to the right. That's because this left of 50% is actually 50% of the screen. So the left of 50% would begin right here. We just want to move this just a bit to the left so that it is perfectly to the center, right? And we can do that easily by just going below this and saying transform. And we want to say translate on the x-axis by minus 50%. Which will push this to the left, and look at this now, it is now perfectly centered. Let's deal with our countdown timer next. And I'm just going to place a comment here saying the container, and then target the dot container and say display flex, align item center, and justify content to the center. Look what happens. So this happens, okay? And then let's set a flex direction of column, like so. That's looking fantastic. And then here let's set a mean height of 100 viewport heights, so this will go to the center. Something's wrong. Okay, let me just remove this so that you can see it. Notice how we can see this this kind of attribution right here. Notice when I add 100 viewport heights, then it is pushed out of the screen, a scroll bar is introduced, and this is taken to the bottom. Now I don't want this to happen. So instead, what I'm going to do is, because this is already positioned absolute and it's always going to be on the bottom, no matter the screen size that you are using, and the body also has a background color, this dark background color, then what I can do is, instead of specifying this to be 100 viewport heights, I can say, let's say about 70. So this is kind of just sitting on top of the hills. And then let's deal with this section next. Let's deal with our thingy next. What's it called? Our actual countdown timer. And then what we can do is, what class did we give it? So the class of countdown. So let's go inside the class of countdown, like so, countdown. Let's target the class of countdown. Let's say display flex. Let's see that. Okay. And then align item center and justify content to, let's say, space between. Is this one? Let's say space around. Let's say text align center, so that the text is now aligned to the center. And then how is this? It is the time first and then the days, hours, minutes. How do you structure it? We did the opposite. So let's just fix that a moment. Let me grab all of these paragraphs like so, and then just move it up. Okay, so that now is the time, and then the days, hours, minutes, seconds. And then what I want to do is, notice how that the time flag has a bit of more styling to it. So what I'm going to do is just target the countdown and then the paragraphs. So target the countdown like so, target the paragraphs, and then I'm going to say add a padding of, let's say, 20 pixels all around, and then add a margin of 10 pixels just to separate them out, this little space right there. And then let's say, actually, wait a minute. No, that shouldn't be it. That shouldn't be it. Set a padding all around, and then add a background color of this background color. So let's just see what it is. Should be around, is it dark desaturated? Let's test that out. Let's save this. I think that should be the color. And then let's add border radius on this. So let's say border radius, let's say 5 pixels. Okay, let's just add a margin. I don't want to add a margin on the paragraph. I want to add it on the div. So let me target the count down, target the divs. Let's say margin of 10 pixels all around, like so. And then next, let's target. Actually, let's also change the color of the paragraphs to this pink or red color. So let's see color. Let's see what we have. Should be soft red. Copy this, paste it inside, and there we have it, looking amazing. Okay, let me grab this, just move it up. And then what else can we do? Let's increase the font size. Let's go below this. Let's say font size, set this to 46 pixels. Okay, that's really big. And then let's target this H1 and also space it out a bit and turn it to uppercase. So let's say target the countdown, target the H1, change this color to white, change the font size to 30 pixels. Let's say text transform, set this to uppercase. Sorry, this is not the countdown H1, it was the container H1. So I need to cut this out, move it below this. Okay, so we have that. How big is this text? Not so big, and it has a lot of letter spacing. So what we can do, change this to 24. Let's say letter spacing, change this to 2 pixels, and then let's say margin dash bottom, set this to 30 pixels, or let's say 50 pixels, so that we have this. Okay, that is looking nice. This is actually looking very nice. And then next, let's target these H3s so that we can also change their colors. So let's go into the countdown. Oops. Let's go into the countdown, target the H3s. There were H3s, okay, correct. Let's say the color for this should be, it's almost the same color as this text. So let's see. Wait, was it the same color as this? Should be this, right? I think it should be this. So let's paste this inside. Nope, no. That's too dark. That is too dark. Let's say very dark blue. Let's paste this in. Let's see. No, that's too dark. Let's say grayish blue. Copy this. Paste this in. A lot of trial and error, and there we go. That's much better. Okay, let's also reduce the text for this. How is it? It's also in uppercase. So let's say text transform. Let's set this to uppercase, and it also has a letter spacing. So let's say letter spacing, set this to 2 pixels as well, so that we have that. Let's reduce the font size. So let's say font size, reduce this to 18 pixels. That's too big for me. Let's say 16. I think that would be much better, much better. And then let's also add a margin on the top. So margin dash top, set this to around 10 pixels, just to space it out just a bit. And now we are finally ready to start dealing with this, and probably also change this attribution to text to white. So what do you have this right here? Let's set this color to white. Okay, I think that will be much better. Fantastic. So let's now start dealing with our actual countdown timer. So what we need to do is just go into app.js, and then I'm going to create a function that will wrap everything. So I'm going to say const countdown equals to an arrow function like so. And the reason why I want this to wrap everything is because this is the function that we're going to be calling every second to update the UI so that the timer changes, in terms of minutes and seconds. So for now, what I'm going to do is just call it as well, so that we can actually see what we have. And then what we need to do, we need to get the ending date, right? So I'm going to say const date equals to new date, and then pass in, how do you pass in dates inside here? Which date should we use? Let's just use end of the month. So let's say May 30, comma 2021. You know what, I can close this just to make this bigger. So May 30, 2021, and then let's set it to midnight. So 000000, that's midnight. And I'm not sure whether this works. So let's just console log the date. Let's see what we have. Let's see what we have. Open the console. And we have Sunday 30 GMT plus 3 East African time. So that's correct. Okay, I've seen a problem. We have a problem. See this? We have a problem. What I'm going to do is just set this flex wrap to wrap. So let's go inside our style CSS. Let's go to, where was it? Where did they display flex? Inside here. Let's say flex wrap of wrap. We should now, there we go. Okay. So we're going to have this. And then probably, I see a problem. Do you see a problem? I do. We have a problem right there. Right there. Okay, I know how to fix that problem. We can fix that problem by grabbing this, okay? And then we can set another media query here and say at media, set a max width of 500 pixels. Then we're going to be grabbing the count, what was it? The container. We want to grab the container, container, and set this to a max width of auto. Oops. Well, that doesn't work. Okay, now I'm going to fix that in a moment. I'm just going to leave it at that so that we can deal with our app.js and we can begin adding the functionality. Okay. Now, once we get the ending date, May 30, then we can say we want to get the date now, right? So we can say const now equals to new date, like so. New date, like so. Let's see. You know what? Let me just console log now as well. So it's 3 p.m. in the afternoon. Something's confusing me. I hate dealing with dates. Okay. So the next thing that we need to do is that, because we can't really subtract this and this because they're not really numbers, then what we need to do is just say append a method to this called get time, like so. I think that should be it. Let me see the description. Get the time value in milliseconds, so that now if I try to console log the date, then we should see this on the screen, and there we go. So we have new date, like so. And then right here we also need to append get time as well, so that now we can get the difference, where you can say const difference. You can call this a shorter name if you want, and I'm going to say const difference equals to date minus now. You know what, let me give this a more descriptive name. Let's say end date, like so. And then we can say end date, like so, minus now. Okay, and then we can just say console log the difference. Let's see. So this is the difference. That should be correct. That should be correct. Okay, so once we have this, then we want to define our seconds, our minutes, our hours, and the number of days. So I'm going to say const seconds equals to 1,000, because 1,000 milliseconds equals to 1 second. And then I'm going to say const minutes equals to what's it called? Equals to seconds times 60, because 60 seconds get 1 minute, right? And then I'm going to say const hours equals to minutes times 60, because 60 minutes equals to 1 hour. And then I'm going to say const days equals to hours times 24, because 24 hours equals to 1 day. Okay, that's looking fantastic. The next thing that we need to do, let's see, let's say const, let me call this time in days, time days equals to, how do this, equals to difference, the difference divided by the number of days, right? Let me console log the time days. Time days, let's see what we have. Okay, we have 19 days. Okay, almost gave me a heart attack. So we have 19.33, but once we have this, then we can't really subtract all these decimals, right? So we need to just round them up or down, right? So in order to do that, then I'm just going to cut this out, and I'm going to say math.flow and then paste this in, and we should get 19. So we have 19 days, correct? And then the next thing that we need to do is just say const time in hours, time hours equals to, do the same thing, so math.flow, and then inside here is going to be a bit different, where we're going to say get the difference, and then let's say difference modulus days, and then divide this by the hours. This should be hours, right? And what this does is that it returns the remainder. It returns the remainder after dividing these two. So when you get the difference, and we have just found out that the difference is what's it called, 19 days, right? So wait a minute, what is that correct? Let's say time hours. Let's say time hours. Let's see what we have. We have 8 hours. What time is it? It's 3. Yeah, so we have 8 hours till midnight. So this is also correct. So this is also correct. And what I'm going to do is just almost the same thing. So I'm going to say const time minutes is equal to math.flow, and then let's get the difference, and then difference modulus. Now you want to get the hours and then divide them by the minutes, right? This should give us the minutes. Okay, and then let's say const time seconds equals to math.flow, and then let's get the difference modulus, the minutes, and then divide them by the seconds. Okay, just to test this out, let me say let's say time seconds, just to see 48 seconds. Okay, that, I think that is correct. If it's not correct, then we're going to have a serious problem. Now, once we have all of this, because this is now the actual time in days and minutes and hours that we want to get, then we want to get the time in days from here and place it here in terms of days. Let me close this and place it like so. So the time in days is going to go here. Then the time hours right here is going to go here, and then minutes and seconds. So how do you do that? We need to do this. I need a way to target this, and what I'm going to do is right inside this first one, the one that has the days, I'm going to give this paragraph an ID of days, like so, just so that I can target it and I don't have to use query selector. And then I'm just going to copy this, paste it inside here, change this to hours, and then paste it inside here, change this to minutes, and then paste it inside here, change this to seconds. Okay, and then once we have that, then what I can do is document, you can say document dot get element by ID, and I'm targeting the ID of days, and then I'm going to say how do you do it? Is it dot inner text dot inner, let's say inner HTML is equal to the time days. So let's see, we have 19 days, correct? Looking amazing, looking amazing. And then I'm just going to copy this down like so, change this to minutes, no, hours first, and then minutes, and then seconds, and then this is time hours. Oops, this is time minutes, this is time seconds, and save that. Let's see, look at that. We have 19 days, 8 hours, 50 minutes, and 49 seconds. But obviously, you've already realized what is wrong here. And the problem is that the countdown timer is not counting down. So let's fix that. just get this out and say set interval, and then this takes in a function, and then the time period where you want it to repeat to call that function basically. So I'm going to say we want to call the countdown function every second, which is 1,000 milliseconds. Okay, and notice that I'm calling the function as it is without placing my brackets like that, because if I place the brackets, watch what happens. Nothing. Okay, but if I remove the brackets, now save this and watch the magic. There you go. Look at that. Looking fantastic. Now, I've noticed something else where, for example, right here on hours, if the number of hours is less than 10, where it's not displaying 2 digits, then I want it to display 08, for example. If it's like the minutes are less than 10, then I want it to display 09, 08, 07, and as well as the seconds. So in order to do that, then I can just go, actually, how do you do that? Yeah, I know how to do that. I can say time in hours, and I can say is equal to, and we're going to be performing a tertiary operation here where I'm going to say time hours is less than 10, is less than 10. So we are checking if it's less than 10. And then if it is less than 10, I'm going to place my tertiary operator here. So it's the question mark, and I'm going to say we're going to be returning a 0 plus the time hours, like so. And then if it is not less than 10, then I just want to return the time hours. So let's save this. Let's see what we have. And assignment to a constant. Oh, this is a constant variable. Okay, so we need to change this. Let me just change this as well. Select all of them. Let me say let, because we can't change the constant variable because this is changing the constant variable. So let's save this. And there we go. So we have 0 hours, 14 minutes, and so on and so forth. And then we need to do the same for the minutes and the seconds. I think the days, if we have less than 10 days, I don't think having 9 days remaining is a good idea. So I'm just going to copy this down like so, grab these 3 or these 4, and I'm grabbing them using, I know I usually don't mention this. If you want to select the same text over like multiple sections, then you can just say Control D, which will select the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one, and you can see it right there. I don't want to select this bottom one, so I'm just going to change all of this and say time. This is time minutes, like so, and then do the same for this and say time hours. Sorry, not a time hours, but time seconds. Let's see. Let's see. And I'm just going to I'm just going to let this count down to less than 10 so that we can see if it is working. And there we go. You can see that now when it is less than 10, then we have 0 and then the number. So this is working correctly as it should. Now, I think once we do that, then we are actually done with the project. I think this is the entire project. I think this is it. So what I'm going to do next is just, I want to deploy this. So let me go to GitHub first of all and create a repository. And I'm going to create a new repository, call this, what is the name of the challenge? Launch countdown timer. Let me see, launch countdown timer. Create this repository. Okay, let me copy this. And then I'm going to go inside my VS Code like so. And I'm just going to say git init, which will initialize an empty git repository. I'm going to say git add all and git commit -m, and I'm going to say countdown timer complete. Let's see, complete, like so. Then I'm going to say git, oh sorry, I'm going to say git remote add origin, and then paste in that link I copied, and I'm going to say git branch -m main, which will take it back to the main branch. I'm going to say git push -u origin main, like so. We should now push it to GitHub. And if I go back and reload this, then we should see our file structure right there. So we have all of this working correctly. Now, I've just remembered something. I've just remembered that I was checking this out on a smaller screen and it was not working correctly. So let's see. Oh, okay, so there we go. but I think this is now working correctly. And let me go to the container and add a padding on the container so that this also moves inwards. So let me go inside here, and let me say for a max width of, let's say right here. Actually, I can just add the max width, and I'm going to say padding of 0 on the top and bottom and 20 pixels on the left and right, so that this happens. And then I want the h1 to always text align to the center, so I'm going to say the dot container h1 and text align center, so that we have this is looking much better, much better. Okay, so let me publish the latest repository, the latest changes. So git add all, git commit -m, and I'm going to say update UI and say git push. Okay, so once that is pushing, what I want to do is go to Netlify, because we're going to be deploying this and submitting it back to Frontend Mentor. And on this tab, let me open Frontend Mentor, like so. Let me log into Netlify, and let me check this out. So we should go into challenges, right? Let me go into my profile. Should be inside my profile. Let me say new site from GitHub. Okay, let's search for launch, because that is the name, launch countdown timer. Are you searching? Okay, there we go. So launch countdown timer, and then we don't have a published directory, but we do have an empty, not an empty one, but we do have an index.html file inside the root of our workspace. So it should deploy automatically. So let's say deploy site, and then inside here, let me search for, where's that? Where's the challenge? Really? My challenges. Oh, sorry, my challenges. There you go. So we have this. Okay, so I'm going to click on this and it should take me to the submit solution. There we go. So we have submit solution here, and this is the link to my repository. So just paste this inside here, and then my site should have been deployed. So I'm just going to go into site settings and say change site name, change this to TSB designs, and I'm going to say countdown, like so, a shorter name. Okay, and then I'm going to copy this link like so, and paste it where this is the live site URL, and then I'm going to say launch countdown timer, like so, and I think that should be it. So let's say submit solution, and we can close this and close this. Okay, and there we go. So we have submitted our solution, and we have the points looking amazing, Okay, so that is going to be it for this video. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you are not already subscribed, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.